Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video I'm going to be covering Gouken. He made his first appearance in the 1993 manga Street Fighter II: Ryu, but made his first video game appearance as a playable character in Street Fighter IV, which was released in July of 2008. Now, he also goes by the name Sheng, and he's an elderly yet powerfully built male character that stands 6 feet 1 inches tall and weighs 199 pounds, having brown eyes and black hair when he was young, but now having long gray hair. Gouken is the developer and greatest practitioner of his own martial art that was a variation of the lethal martial art known as Ansatsuken. His unique style was based more on self-defense and non-lethal tactics versus the pure Ansatsuken that was taught to he and his younger brother Akuma by their master who was named Gotetsu. His vast training, wisdom, and control of his ki is reflected in his very popular students. You may recognize them as Ryu, Ken, and Dan. And despite Gouken having a similar martial arts background to his students and even his brother Akuma, he has very distinct differences that make him stand apart. For instance, he's powerful enough to throw a Go Hadouken with one hand, instead of the traditional two. He can also charge these to higher power levels, as well as shooting two of them at different angles, even at the same time. He also practices a unique Tatsumaki Senpu Kayaku, also known as the Hurricane Kick. With his version, he actually performs it as a perfectly vertical spiral attack. He can also perform a rushing attack while avoiding any projectiles, which he calls the Senkugoshaha. In addition to these, he also has a special electrical attack that can drain his enemies, and his own unique multiple-hit form of the Dragon Punch, known as the Shin Shoryuken. Now, Gouken typically fits the bill of your traditional Master Elder within martial arts, being very stern and calm, while also exhibiting an extremely competitive spirit. Eventually getting to the point that he even viewed his pupils, Ryu and Ken, as healthy competitors for him to challenge. Now, as I alluded to earlier, long ago Gouken and Akuma were the students of Gotetsu, the two brothers eventually getting to the points that they diverged in their usage of their fighting style. While Akuma became more focused on the lethal and dark aspects of their art, eventually giving in to the evil force known as the Satsui no Hado, Gouken conversely developed his own style of fighting that focused on the more peaceful and spiritual aspects of their art, and completely ignoring the Satsui no Hado. Over time, this divergence actually led to Akuma taking out their master Gotetsu, then leaving his dojo and brother to go off and train by himself. Gouken would later go on to found his own dojo, and he took his first pupil in, named Dan Hibiki. But this was short-lived because he learned that Dan took up martial arts to seek revenge for his father's death. He therefore rejected him and strongly warned him about the dark path he was going down. Gouken would later find an abandoned baby boy named Ryu and took him in, raising him as his own son. A few years later, Ryu was joined at the dojo by Ken Masters, who was a little American boy that was sent there by his father, who happened to be good friends with Gouken. After just a few years of training the boys, Gouken's dojo had a visitor that he hadn't seen in many years, his brother Akuma. To test his abilities and looking down on his brother's enlightened path, Akuma challenged his brother, but at this point, he was easily beaten by Gouken. Many years would then go by, Gouken's training of his two students having made them stronger and stronger. But one fateful day, Akuma came back for a rematch, this time beating and seemingly killing Gouken. This was tragic for Ryu and Ken, and believing that their master was dead, they paid their respects and put him into a grave. But it was later revealed that Gouken had actually used a special technique to fall into a 2-year-long coma and had not lost his life. After he awakened, he tracked down and observed his students, being proud of the fact that they had come so far in their strength. Needless to say, this stoked the competitive nature within Gouken, and he actually joined the SIN tournament to test their strength himself. He would go on to use something called the power of nothingness to help Ryu seal away the Satsui no Hado that had always tempted him. And this led to another brutal match with his brother Akuma, who was naturally enraged at Gouken for taking away what he saw his greatest competitor's strength. It's understood that this was a fierce battle, but it's perceived that Gouken won this one, seeing as how Ryu and Ken subsequently sought to stay with their master for a while. But funny enough, Gouken tells his old pupils that they're grown men now and that they no longer need him as a master. Now, due to his powers and abilities and his influence on the Street Fighter universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Gouken a rating of 10, which is a legendary rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like and subscribe to The New Sage.